Hey folks, Jeremy with Whitetail Dreams Real Estate here. I want to come to you today and talk a little bit about buyers. Over the years, the number one cause of concern has always been, I can't get time with an agent. I've done numerous seminars at different outings and Deer Fest and the Whitetail Deer Classic, and people come up and they're always saying, I can't get somebody to call me back, or I can't get an agent to work with me. And I want to address that in buyer agency and as how we represent people from a buyer's perspective. Now, we have a lot of agents out there that just want to throw listings at you and they don't care if they meet any of your criteria. Really, one of the things that we do as a company and we pride ourselves on is understanding what you as a buyer are looking for. And I think it's important for us to sit down and counsel. People ask me a lot of times, well, what is your business? Well, we're sort of a counselor or some type of consultation company because we really are doing a lot of listening. We're doing more, what do you want? And how do I save time doing that? Biggest thing people say, besides I can't get an agent to call me back, is they're sending me to properties that don't fit what I'm looking for. I drove 2 hours to a property and it was nowhere near what I was looking at. And I'll be honest, it happened to me this week. I drove to a property, I drove 45 minutes to a property, I got there, and it was nothing what the agent said it was. And that's frustrating. It's frustrating to us, it's frustrating to you, it's frustrating because gas prices are high, it's frustrating because your time is so important and we all need to use every bit of time we have for our families. So one of the things, I sat down with every one of my agents and I said, listen, we need to better help people from a buying perspective. And that means putting in a lot of time. So I'm going to go through the proper steps of how to build rapport and how to build that buying process. First thing you need to do is find an agent in the area you're looking to buy property. The second thing you need to do is have an open and honest conversation with all the buyers involved in that transaction. And then sit down with that agent and talk about where you want to be, what you want that property to do for you, the future plans of that property, whether it's building, food plots, logging, timber management, what have you. And then stay true to the process. A lot of times what happens is in that first day or two, the buyer hires us as an agent, as a buyer's agent, and you're sending us all of these listings. What about this? What about this? And it's an enormous amount of time consumption. The thing is, I've already done the listening. I already know what you want. The agents have already listened to you. All our agents are trained in-house. They all know what it is that you're going to need. They're listening to you. They're going to scour listings. They're going to look for the little anomalies within that listing that are not honest. The pictures are taken at a weird angle. The pictures may have 5 pictures of good timber, but there's a bunch of cuts and it doesn't mention anything about a prior cut. We're going to be able to find out all of these little things that would cause you to not want that property and bring that to you so that you are not wasting your time on Saturday morning after a baseball game or before a football game or basketball or soccer, and you can go out, look at a property and say, hey, we're looking at good properties today. These are the things that I want to buy, or the things that I see myself and my family owning. And that honesty and that integrity is what we beat into every single agent. At the end of the day, there is no place for lying. It's lying. There's no place for lying to a buyer about what it is they're going to see. Be honest with them about what they're going to see, because at the end of the day, they're going to see it regardless. And they're either going to think you're a real jerk or they're going to think you were honest. And that's really, where do you expect us to be? And at the end of the day, I want you to say, thank you for being honest with me. But one of the most important things is, if you see a property for sale, you just don't call on that property because the agent didn't answer his phone. He's probably out walking a property, or he's probably, who knows, maybe he's with his family fishing that day. And you see a property on Sunday morning and you call him 6 times and you can't get him on the line. So you call that listing agent, you've interrupted the program. And that is why agents won't work with particular people. They get antsy, they get overzealous, they don't follow our process. Now, granted, you don't understand our process, but when we sit down and talk about buyer agency, we want to help you buy a property. You're at the top of the list. When we have buyer agency, we're putting you at the top of the list. Every property that we are walking, we're thinking, who does this fit? Who is this going to work for? And sometimes that agent will call you while he's out on the property and say, hey, I'm walking your new property. This is everything that you wanted. And it goes both ways. If you want our attention, you need to also be patient with getting back to you. Our agents are not typical agents. They are in the field every day. We don't sit at the office waiting for the phone to ring. There's a lot of things that need to be done. There's 4 different seasons, and they're very different in the state of Wisconsin. Properties need to be refilmed. They're flying the drone and the phone is ringing. They just can't answer. Send a text, send an email, send that listing link. Chances are we already know about it. We know the area. We can say, hey, I can get a hold of that agent and find out where that's at. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take patience, and it's going to take you building a relationship and trusting that agent as a buyer agent to get what you want. And when I hear about the fails, I automatically know to ask, well, how did you work with your agent? How did you communicate with your agent? Did you go do all the searching, or did you let them do it? I personally have walked a lot of property and called people and said, hey, I got a property. I think it fits what you're looking for. I've also been on the other side of that, where I walked a property and said, this is not what you're looking for. Please don't waste your time driving out here today. And that's on me. And that's what you're hiring us for, is to be your eyes. Don't be that person that says, well, I need to see it whether you think it fits me or not. I need to rule it out. If that's the case, you don't need a buyer's agent. And agents are probably not going to work with you from a buyer's perspective, because if you're not being patient and you don't trust that agent, there's no point working together, because you're going to circumvent the system, and they'll have put in 50, 60, 70 hours of time walking property, thinking about you, thinking about your perspective, and then you walked away. And we are not going to get in a legal battle about how everything works from the inside of the realtor's world, but you're just not going to get a call back. And I hate to say that, but that's the reality of it, and that's what people need to hear, is the truth. And sometimes the truth is not what you want to hear, but it is the best case scenario, and that's what we pride ourselves on, is just telling you the truth about what these properties are and how the system works. And our goal, my goal as owner of Whitetail Dreams Real Estate, was to be able to put a product in front of people that we were open and honest about, fully transparent about our entire process. You can ask any agent about any part of the process and they're going to know it. And if they don't, they're not going to give you a BS line. They're going to say, let me get back to you on that. And that's what we pride ourselves on, is not just smashing listings or going out and giving information that's false. We're going to go find out. If an agent calls you about a property, they probably walked it, or they're on their way to it, and they are excited about what they're going to see. So if you want to work with a buyer's agent, follow these instructions: communication, honesty, integrity from both sides of that. But trust that buyer's agent, because he has your best interest in mind to get you in the property. He has no interest, that buyer's agent has no interest in bringing you to a property that you're absolutely going to hate. No one wants that. I don't want that. Will doesn't want it. Pat doesn't want it. Tom doesn't want it. My guys want you to go out on a property on Saturday morning with your entire family, go walk a property, and it fits you to the point where the moment you pull up to it, you feel at home. You're like, the drive time was perfect. The set out, the layout, the buildability, the lack of buildability, where you put your trailer, where you put your driveway, if some of that's not done. And they'll be able to walk you through the entire process of that. And you loving that is the most important thing to us. So we appreciate you guys as buyers. You're a part of our business as much as the sellers are, and we're gonna give you 100% every time. But remember, that needs to go both ways. And in today's society where it's all one-sided, we have to be old school about it. And that old school is good old-fashioned, boots to ground, working, walking, understanding properties, and helping you find the best property and find your dream property.